welcome to the Coffeehouse. Glad you're here. You are one of our first guests, so, tables galore. You can sit anywhere you want. Hopefully, the place will fill up soon, but we're still in our soft launch. My name's Vic Bonacci, and for today I'll be your barista. We are still hiring, by the way, others to help us out in the coffee shop. So other baristas or roasters or whoever else you can imagine needs to be here. Inquire within. I've always wanted to own some kind of a coffee shop or a restaurant or an artistic space or even a WeWork kind of an area, but never quite came to cross my path, right? And then last year hit, and now we're all working from home, and I miss coffee shops, particularly because I've been running meetups in my local area, and we've been meeting at coffee shops for the last 7 or 8 years, and I've really grown in the community here with others, and we've found such value in that. So lo and behold, I decided to go ahead and start my own coffee house right here in my own abode, right? So you can come back anytime and you can see what's going on here, and hopefully some of our other guests will be contributing video of themselves sitting down at the tables and sharing their ideas. So one thing I'd like to share with you today, you can see the feature that we've got up on the board is something called SFD. SFD is an acronym first coined by Anne Lomott in her book, Bird by Bird. She called it the shitty first draft. Now, pardon the vulgar language, but what she said is for as a writer, specifically a writer talking to other writers, we need to just get something out on paper. Get it out there, treat it as just that, something that's a first draft that no one else is going to see. She called the shitty first draft, or the SFD, something like the child's draft. The first draft is just that. It's you throw things against the wall and see what sticks. You get up and you put on your galoshes and you romp around all over your draft, and you make light of it, because again, it's for your own consumption. Hopefully it's a building block so that you can develop a better second draft and ultimately a great third draft. So delivering in iterations, bird by bird. More on Anne Lomott on a future visit to the coffee house. But I also wanted to extend the metaphor, as Brené Brown does. Brené Brown, Dr. Brené Brown, is a research professor at the University of Houston and a prolific author. You may have seen one of her TED Talks. Her first TED Talk is one of the top 5 TED Talks in all of history, right? But she had taken the SFD, and she said you can call it the Stormy first draft if you prefer. And it doesn't just apply to writers for Brené Brown. So she had said that most of us, our brains are pattern recognizing machines. Basically, we get this hit of dopamine when we hear a story, when we think of things in terms of a story. And if you're working on something and you're wondering what another person might think of it, you might not have all the information or all the data available at first, and yet your mind will fill in the gaps, Brené Brown says, to create what's called the Stormy first draft. So you might assume that your boss isn't going to like it, or it will receive bad criticism from some group somewhere else. This is not data that you have in front of you. You're just kind of filling that in. And she says that many of us kind of live by creating these SFDs, these Stormy first drafts, and we're not following through on, is that the truth? Is it something that we're just making up in our mind to feel better, to have a story that we can latch onto? Usually we fill in the blanks with the worst situations, the worst scenarios. So more on Brené Brown and some of her books in the future. But I did want to just kind of tie up today's visit before your order gets up and you go and sit by the library shelves or the fish tanks or by the windows there. And just let you know one other author that I've been really fond of over the years, and especially lately, I finished a book. And so ring the bell. That's a cause for celebration whenever I can finish a book front to back. Who Do We Choose to Be by Margaret J. Wheatley. I've got a number of her books as well, and in this one, which came out a few years back, she says that there's three things that this kind of wanton individualism, when she wrote it, kind of led to. It drove away these ideas of community and contribution and connection, the three C's. She says that all of us get true meaning and value out of. And I feel the same way. In the last year, I've been missing out on a lot of that community and that contribution and connections. And so that's really kind of hit home to me. It's really been resonating. And that's why this idea of the coffee house appeals to me so well. So hopefully you may have taken something out of this one, the idea of the Stormy first draft. Maybe you can apply that in your workplace or your household or your community or whatever it is. And you're thinking of an idea and it's sitting in the back of your head, this idea of the SFD, and then one day, boom, a connection will fit and it'll make sense for you too. Hopefully you could come back to our coffee house and get a number of ideas in that way, and you can take those ideas and share them with coworkers or family or friends, and have meaningful conversations. Make those connections amongst each other. Build up your own community so that you can feel that contribution moving around. I'd like to say you're welcome back here anytime. Before you go, just a reminder, we do have the world's tiniest tip jar. So you can like and subscribe to these videos, and that would help us out a lot. If you want to go a step further, I invite you to visit our Patreon page. You can see here, we've got a few levels, and what that's going to provide to you is the ability to see more in-depth features. So I'll go into a little bit more depth on some of the books that we mentioned here today, here on the Patreon. So consider joining. Until next time, I'm Vic Bonacci, your barista for the human spirit. That's a nod to Margaret J. Wheatley. Enjoy your coffee with friends, and welcome back anytime.